It's time for the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Each week, Trading Stocks Made Easy demystifies stock trading and investing so you can profit big. And now, here's the host of Trading Stocks Made Easy, the wealthy investor, Tyrone Jackson.
You're back again. Wow, I can't believe it. Hey, it's Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor. And today I have a very, very serious but important topic to talk to you about. We're going to start this episode off with a question. And the question is about you. In fact, this whole episode is about you and being able to live a better life. So my question to you is, how much fear is in your life? How much fear on a daily basis is in your decision-making, your friendships, your choices, and your money? There's a high probability right now that fear is blocking your financial blessings. Did you know that? Fear is blocking your financial blessings. Fear is blocking your ability to have financial freedom. There's a high probability that fear of the unknown is blocking the amount of money that comes into your household and the amount of money that you will earn for the rest of your life. Does it feel good living in fear? Let me give you a pattern. Fear is learned. Fear is taught. Who taught you how to be so fearful when it comes to your financial life? Maybe you had a bad experience. Maybe your parents lived in fear. Maybe you saw bad things happen. And you said, well, I'm going to make some choices with my money so I'll never make the mistakes that the people around me make. Well, when you're living in fear, what's the first thing that you do? You choose other people around you, your neighborhood, your social clubs, your church, who are all in fear. That has to happen. Why? Because like always attracts like in the universe. Same will always attract same. So if you are living in fear, if you're full of fear, fearful, who do you attract in your life? Other people who are also afraid, and then you feel comfortable in their presence. So if you look at the neighborhood that you live in, and it's not your desired neighborhood, and you're living in fear, your neighbors have to be fearful people. And even though they're nice and they come over and they offer advice, they're probably offering you advice that is full of fear. So when you're constantly associated with people who live in fear, it gets comfortable. So if you're afraid, they're afraid. The people around you are afraid. You choose to be close to them because they confirm the state of fear that you're living in. Now, this is really interesting because you have the opportunity to dial down that fear. It's a practice any day that you want. And that comes from awareness. So let's say you say, hey, Tyrone, I love your podcast, which many of you do. And you say, it really, really helps me. Well, then today's episode is all about you. It's all about helping you dial down the fear in your life, especially around money. It's all about you practicing and becoming aware of when you're feeling fear, so that you can dial it down, because your whole goal over the next 6 months is to fear just a little bit less. Just a little bit less fear about losing your business. Just a little bit less fear about losing your worldly possessions. Just a little bit less fear about your investments. But remember, as you dial down this fear, you will become fearless. Now, here's what's really interesting to me. When it comes to our money and it comes to investing, we are taught, many of us, to give our money away to someone called a financial advisor. Now, as I always say on this program, financial advisors are not bad people. They're just people making a living, charging you a fee for something that you think you can't do on your own. Think about giving your money away in a 401k to someone you don't know. Well, Tyrone, I actually know the salesperson who talked me into putting my money into mutual funds. Great. But this is interesting. you don't know the mutual fund manager, the person who actually makes decisions about where to put the money in a mutual fund. And mutual fund is nothing more but a basket of stocks that somebody else chooses. So you say to yourself, well, I don't know that much about money, so I'm going to pay this financial advisor a fee. And then the person who actually takes my money and buys stock in a stock market, who, by the way, I would not recognize on the street, at a cookout, at a social event, I don't even know who they are. I don't even know their name. But I'm going to let that person, who I don't even know, handle all of my retirement money. Now, if you want to be afraid of something, you should be afraid of someone who has the power to put your retirement money to work, and you don't even know their name. You're not friends on Facebook. You haven't looked them up on LinkedIn. None of that. That's something you should actually be afraid of. Why? That person can make terrible choices about your future financially, and you don't even know who they are. So if you're afraid of that, think about that. You should be afraid of that. But if you learn how to trade and invest, and you understand the power of allocation, that 1/3 of all your money should be in Dow stocks that pay a dividend, that have been around 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, these companies who are multinational companies and who pay dividends out that have increased over time, why would you fear that? That would actually be putting success and money back into your life, because you would have a financial education. Who are the most fearful people in the world? The people who don't know how money works. You see, fear is learned, but wealth is taught. And why are there so many self-made millionaires in our society today? Because they are fearless people. Now, when you're consumed by fear, what happens? Well, your thinking gets very cloudy, right? So imagine if every day you're walking around with a clouded mind that's all based in fear. Are you making clear decisions? Are you making decisions that are really sharp, that will benefit you and your family in the future? You can't. Why? Because you are fearful. You are full of all of this fear. When you dial down your fear, and you have an open mind, and you realize you probably never really got a great financial education, you would be fearless. Information makes you fearless. In your life, are you fearless financially? Now, the other thing that I see is that people join the Wealthy Investor Program, and yes, I have to talk about the Wealthy Investor Program. They become financially empowered. They start generating thousands and thousands and thousands a month off of a trade like covered call, and then all of a sudden the market pulls back. And the only thing that comes up for them is not the history of the companies that they've invested in. It is fear. Fear of what? Fear of losing all of their money. Now, we know when you're fear-based, you're not in a clear mind, right? But if they stick around for a little while, what do they learn? Oh, markets always come back. It's not just the U.S. stock market that can pull back from time to time. It's markets around the world. And when you really start to study what happens when markets pull back, you'll start to learn when markets retrace. Now, when you get that financial education and you're fearless, you realize there's opportunity in a pullback. When the market is down, that's a great opportunity. So my question for you is, it's time for you to move forward in your life. Is it time for you to dial down your fear and become fearless so that you can have the greatest financial life possible? Think about that. Back in a moment.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't understand how to write covered calls for monthly income? No problem. Simply review Tyrone's latest stock trades in our video library as many times as you need. WITradeschool.com is all about helping you get the financial education you need to earn money in the stock market and change your financial life. Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's Red Hot Stock Trades and Investment Strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
So today's episode is all about you. And the question I've been talking to you about is how much fear is in your life? If you're a fearful person, aren't you also going to choose a partner in life who's also full of fear? Fearful? Fearful of what? Of everything. All of that fear is affecting your relationship. It's affecting your wealth. It's affecting your ability to protect yourself. It's affecting your ability to make great friendships, to have the biggest, best life as possible. Why would you want to choose someone in your life who's as full of fear as you are? Because it's comfortable. But when you decide to become fearless, your relationship changes, right? Because one of you says, hey, we got to snap out of this fear thing, because maybe it's affecting our ability to live a peaceful life. So today, I don't want you to be full of fear. I'd rather you be full of anticipation, full of joy, full of hope. That means you would be hopeful. Do you realize that hopeful people have the best life? Because hope means that you are looking towards the future. Now, if you can't see all the great things that are going to happen in the future, let me help you out. A lot of great things are going to happen for you in the future. The choice is, are you going to be hopeful or fearful? And if you don't believe that there are a lot of great things on the way in your life, if you're not hopeful, well, then you need to have a little something called faith. Because faith is essentially hope in something that you cannot see. Very interesting. Today, I'm Reverend Tyrone. I think you get that by now, right? All right. So why am I here? To encourage you, because I can't tell you what to do. I don't run your life. You run your life. Why am I here to encourage you? Well, there's something extraordinary about to happen in the stock market, and here we go. If you're full of fear, you'll miss this. If you are hopeful, you'll take advantage. There's a company called Amazon.com. Right? One of the largest companies in the world. Yes, it is a digital business, so that means it can sell things all over the world. Just announced a 20-for-1 stock split. Now, some of you might not know what that means. It means that the board of directors have decided that the shares of Amazon have become, well, too expensive, and they want to reduce the price in the open market so that the average person can start buying shares of Amazon.com. Why should you be so excited, so hopeful about the future? Because 10 years ago, Amazon.com shares were trading at $187, which some people at the time said, oh, that's way too expensive. I can't afford it. But they all have iPhones that cost $1,200. That makes no sense to me because the iPhone doesn't pay a dividend. There's no return on investment. Yes, we like it, but we're supposed to be making smart and educated choices about our lives, right? So nothing against iPhones. I love them. But I also have money in the stock market. 10 years ago, Amazon shares were trading at $187. You want to know where they are right now? $2,948 a share. What good was it fearing Amazon shares at $187, and today it's $2,948? Now, with this 20-for-1 stock split about to happen, the shares are going to reduce themselves approximately to $150 a share, which means anyone who has an online trading account at TD Ameritrade or anywhere else can actually participate in this almost once-in-a-generation opportunity. Fear. Fear would be the thing that stops you. It's time to let go of fear and practice fearing less. But let me tell you how blessed you are. Remember I told you got to have a little hope? You must be hopeful and you have to have faith. Well, as it turns out, Amazon is not the only behemoth to split. Google has come out and said, we're doing a 20-for-1 stock split. Where were Google shares 10 years ago? $298. Where they're trading right now? North of $2,636. 20-for-1 stock split. These shares also, when they split, are going to be around $150. Now, if you have $1,500 for an iPhone with all the bells and whistles, I know you could buy 10 shares post-split on Google and Amazon. These companies make billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars every quarter. They tell us in the quarterly reports. So you see, if you're making clear-minded decisions, you can plan right now to own shares of two of the biggest companies on the planet. That's how blessed your life is. Every single week you listen to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast and you learn something. You get a little inspiration and information, financial education that you didn't get before. The rest of your life is up to you. Fear. Fear. It's time to let go of fear. It's time to move away from the people who taught you fear. And I don't mean like ditch them by the side, but part of dialing down fear is that you listen to other people who are full of fear just a little bit less. I think that all makes sense. Yeah, it all makes sense. That fearing less is a practice, like going to the gym or yoga. You don't do yoga, you practice yoga, right? Doctors don't do medicine, they practice medicine. Practice makes perfect. Practice creates enormous amounts of wealth in the stock market. I'm Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, and this week I'm asking you to fear less. Have hope, be hopeful, and have faith, because the best is yet to come. I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, be sure to click the subscribe button and you'll automatically receive our next episode.